What's going on, guys? This is going to be a video on yet another one of my beverage opening keychain tool designs. Some of you may have seen my first design in my first video about the beverage breaching tool. Just to show you that one real quick, I actually carry one on my personal set of keys. And definitely want to thank you guys for the positive response on this tool, for those of you who have bought one or given me positive feedback. I had about 4 dozen of those made, and I've actually sold all but 2 of those. And I expect those to go quite soon as well. And chances are I'll probably do another run of those in the future. Maybe a little while, but that will also depend on demand and if I get any future requests for those tools. But moving on, I do have a second design that I want to submit to you guys and offer up for sale here in the near future. This one was jokingly called the Brews-a-fix, as it's based on a crucifix design, and kind of started off as a joke, but it seems like that name kind of caught on and was a little catchier than I thought, so that's probably what I'll be referring to this. But its original purpose was not only as a beverage opener or a cap lifter, but also just as a keychain, maybe even as a necklace, a zipper pull. You could probably get a couple of these and wear as earrings due to their lightweight and relatively small size. But I also wanted something that could double not only as kind of a keepsake, pocket cross, or a keychain, but something functional such as a cap lifter or a pocket tool. So I'm going to go through some various roles and functions of this tool and show you how well those work. But first I just want to give a little recap on the materials and dimensions. Like the beverage breaching tool, this is made out of 6Al-4V titanium, which is just a phenomenal material. It's got a great tensile strength. It's very lightweight, although very strong and durable. It is very corrosion resistant. No issues with humid or saltwater environments. It is non-magnetic as well. And pound for pound, this stuff is actually stronger than steel. And although it's not quite as tough or durable as a hardened tool steel, it is more than adequate for opening bottles, using as a light to medium duty pry tool, screwdriver, and otherwise. And it should fare quite well in a pocket, riding out some keys, jingling around with some change and other things. It should remain quite durable and last for pretty much a lifetime. As far as dimensions on this, it is about 1 inch wide, actually just a hair over 1 inch on most of these, from outside to outside. From top to bottom, the length is about 1 3/4 of an inch, and width is right at 1/8 of an inch. So it's very small, very compact. You kind of see next to a key here, it's just about the same size, if not a little bit smaller than a key. So should ride very well on a keychain, fit very nicely in a pocket, or even hang off, like I said, a zipper, a necklace, a pair of earrings, or what have you. So very unobtrusive, very lightweight, but then again very functional. Now these will also be tapered on one end or one side of the long leg of the cross, and that's to maximize its potential as a pry tool, as well as a screwdriver and some other functions. I'll go over those shortly. The finish on these will be a tumbled stonewash finish. You can kind of see these have been run through the vibratory tumbler once. They will go again after I taper all the long sides for the pry tool function. But what that does, it also rounds all these edges and corners off. So it is relatively comfortable in your hand on your keys. It shouldn't abrade your pocket or poke you in the neck or what have you. Now I will give one disclaimer on this. Its primary function is not necessarily as much as a bottle opener as the beverage breaching tool was. Although it does function well as a bottle opener, it does take a little bit of practice, it does take a little bit of technique, and I'll kind of show you the pros and cons of that momentarily. But I would say that its sole function or its primary function is not so much as a bottle opener, that's kind of a secondary function, as much as it is a pry tool or a pocket tool for other uses. But again, it does serve well as a cap lifter, and I will show you that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and reposition this camera so I can get things in frame. And this does take a couple lifts if you use the front edge here, and I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. You just want to push it up under the cap nice and snugly. Get one lift, rotate about 90 degrees for the second lift. And once you kind of get it down, get a little practice, it's actually very easy and works very well. Now another thing that you can do, kind of a second technique, is using the long side of the cross as the lifter. It's a little bit less leverage on the front end here, and maybe a little bit harder on the fingers. But if you simultaneously press down with your thumb on this back side while lifting with the front side, it actually works quite well and quite easily. So just keep that in mind. It does take a little bit of practice, a little bit of technique, but this does work quite well as a cap lifter. Now another thing it works well as is a tab lifter. It slides very easily underneath there, and I'm not going to open that just yet. But another function, and this is where it actually probably works a little bit better than the beverage breaching tool, but for opening a split ring, slides in very easily, and you can actually vary the width if you want to go all the way in for opening it a small way, or pull it back out for opening it a large way, depending on the size of your key or your split ring. So it functions very well in that role. It does again work very well as a pry tool for opening paint cans and otherwise. And believe it or not, although it doesn't have a hexagonal cutout, it still works quite nicely for getting some leverage as a 1/4 inch nut driver. And you'd use this almost as an open end wrench on a 1/4 inch bit. Turn it one way or the other, and you could probably use just about any of these. I actually like using the bottom side. It gives you a lot of extra leverage for turning some 1/4 inch bits. And then also works as a tape cutter. As you can see, you don't have to use your keys or bend your keys up to get a box open there. Hopefully that was in frame. And then lastly, it works very good as a flathead screwdriver. And those are kind of the functions that I immediately recognize in this tool. Very nice little compact keychain or pendant. I'm actually going to be including a 1/2 inch split ring on all of these, so you can put it directly on your keys, even wear it on a paracord necklace or similar. And I may even be including a smaller split ring if you want it to be rotated 90 degrees on your key ring to kind of be in line with the rest of your keys. But this is the Brews-a-fix. Price is still yet to be determined. I still got quite a bit of work left to do on these. This one hasn't even been tapered yet. But I'm going to taper the long ends of these, run them through the vibratory tumbler for a little better stonewash finish, and then these will be offered for sale. So I do appreciate your interest, guys. I appreciate the feedback, and definitely stay tuned for more. talk to you later.